Hello, my name's Alasdair Northrop and I'm a journalist, and I've been asked to tell you about my favourite magazine. But before I tell you about my favourite magazine, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my history with magazines. I love magazines, and indeed I was editor of my first magazine when I was just 17 years old. I was editor of the Lemontonian, my old school magazine, and it was a lot of fun. It was rather irreverent in the days of Monty Python, and we used to take the mick out of teachers and pupils alike. It was great. I probably spent far too much time on that and not enough time studying, but nevertheless I managed to get a degree and I went on to journalism working in newspapers, but I always enjoyed reading magazines along the way. And I eventually went into magazines myself because I was getting quite frustrated because I wanted to get my teeth into subjects. So I came to Scotland in 2000 and became editor of this magazine, Scottish Business Insider. Now, Scottish Business Insider had been established in 1984, and it was a pioneer in many ways in business journalism. It listed the top 500 companies in Scotland, it listed the main deals in the corporate world, and when I joined it, I started adding more listings of the best performing SMEs in Scotland and the fastest growing small companies. And we did things like the Rising Stars. We had profiles of business people who were coming up the ranks, and it was a fascinating exercise to do. And the sort of format of a magazine enables you to do that and have a lot of fun with it. Insider is still one of my favourite magazines, and it's now been edited by Ken Simon. He does an excellent job. But let's get on to my final magazine, and this is the Sunday Times magazine. Sunday Times magazine was hugely influential for me over the years. It's been going since the 1960s, and its format has stayed very much the same over many years, and it's a format that works very well. You have a cover story, and the cover story on that particular edition is about Keir Starmer, the new Labour leader, and there's an in-depth profile in the magazine which makes fascinating reading, and it reminded me of the in-depth profile they did on Tony Blair when he'd just become Labour leader. So interesting stuff. You get a really sort of behind the scenes look at Keir Starmer in that. But other features I really like in the Sunday Times magazines include Life in the Day, which is basically somebody talking about what they do in their daily life, but it also gives you more or less the story of their life in just one page. It's an amazing bit of journalism to succinctly put together someone's life in one page. And it was invented by Hunter Davies, who's one of my journalistic heroes, and I was lucky enough to meet him a couple of years ago. It's a great, simple concept. It works really well, and it's part of the package in the Sunday Times. The other thing that they do regularly is relative values, which is often a father and son, or mother and daughter, or father and daughter, or in the case of the latest Sunday Times that I've got there, it was husband and wife, Marcus Waring and his wife Jane, and it again made fascinating reading. And I learned a lot about the guy that we see on TV regularly. So the Sunday Times remains my favourite magazine, but Insider Magazine is way up the top there. And there's many other excellent magazines that I enjoy too, including The Economist, which is still one that really holds the very high standards that we all aspire to. Thank you very much.